Good morning, my little dirt squirrels. How y'all doing today? So we are on site today, loading out trucks, getting prepped for this snowstorm. I got this giant pile. You guys saw me build in the last episode, and I built this big old platform to sit on with the excavator so I could load out this nice dry material onto another one of our sites. So right now we're loading trucks, and later on we might be digging for the electrician a little. We'll be jumping in the dozer, doing some cleanup on site, and getting prepped for that 2 foot of snow that's coming in tonight. I'm not very excited about it because I don't like shoveling, but we'll make do and we'll get it done. So anyway, stay tuned. We'll show you how to load trucks properly. We'll show you how to maintain these piles and keep bucking them up for productivity. And then we'll go ahead and show you how to do some cleanup with the dozer. Okay, we are back. We got probably 10 trucks out of here so far. It's just gotten light enough now to where I can start to film. So to stay productive, I'm gonna keep taking material and moving it right here. So I have a quarter turn when I'm loading out my trucks. It makes the quickest cycle time and the most efficient cycle time in studies. If you're coming further, the timing will be a little different. Them quarter turns is about, for most excavators, the speed and reaction time which it takes you to get the swing, get the bucket up, get it positioned. So quarter turns are about as efficient as you can get. So I'm just taking a little material over here and I'm just setting it right here, so when the next truck comes, I can just grab right out of there and then do a quarter swing and boom, drop it right inside of the old box. So this is what we'll be doing probably a majority of the day today. Like I said, we'll be doing some snow prep later because we're supposed to get 2 feet of snow. So we're just gonna pay attention to the weather and just keep poking along here. I'll give you as many tips as I can on running the excavator efficiently, and I don't have no heat in the hose, so I'm gonna just try to keep it unfogged as much as I can. So stay tuned and we'll keep working. Okay, we are back. We have been slowly working this pile down. As you can see, we have chewed this whole platform out so we could track back and move material around as needed. And I just keep stockpiling my material right here, about a quarter swing from where my truck is going to be setting. My trucks are setting a little further away, so what I'm going to do after I load this truck out is I'm going to box out that little area they're backing into, maybe a foot or two, just so I can reach the front of the truck a little better, as I'm sitting like 16 feet away from this truck because I've angled my platform so if anyone was to track off it, they're not going to flop over or nothing. We don't like shear walls in construction, they're dangerous. So we're just going to keep poking along and loading out this here truck. And like I said, we just made this platform yesterday with the dozer. We have a couple thousand yards here to get loaded out. We have, I don't know, 4 or 5 trucks on turn right now. So we're just slowly poking around, getting these loaded before the snow comes. Sorry, it's raining out, and I don't really have a good way to clean my window. My windshield wiper is a little worn out, leaves streaks, so I'm just not going to use it. Just keep wiping it off on occasion. So notice we're not cutting down past the grade that we're sitting on right now because we don't want to have a giant hole here or a crater. So we're just cleaning up to the grade that we're sitting on, and we'll just keep replenishing this area all throughout the whole day today with material, so we can just constantly just keep chewing material right out of this spot to get that efficiency to where we need it to be. We want to turn these trucks as quick as we can, and we got like a pretty small bucket we're loading with here, like 2 yards, so we're talking, you know, a good 12-13 scoops to really load these trucks up good. So we're just gonna keep poking along, get a little material like that, build up, just push it forward towards the front of the truck. Just make sure you don't hit that dog house and push the truck forward or damage anything. Stay away from those sideboards, they're wood, they will break. We'll give him one more little scoop, make sure he's topped right off here. Drop it right at the gate, leave a little pile, and then just push that little pile forward. And there we go. We loaded him out. He's loaded, ready to tarp. I'm gonna give him a little more since he hasn't moved yet, and then give him another honk. Give him a nice big fat look. All right. That's that. Now we're just going to clean up our area where we're tracking around here, just so we can get closer to our material. We're just going to kind of swat it around. I'm not even caring about grade here. I'm just moving this stuff away so I can track nice and even. You don't want to have an area to the right or the left where your track's going to be set and off grade, because it's just going to unsquare you, and then when you're dumping the truck it'll be all awkward angled and all that. So we got that, and then we're going to reach down here and we're going to go ahead and just box out this couple feet here so the truck can get back to where I want it. Try to box the wet material out. We don't want these trucks tracking out to the road, as we are in DOT right of ways here, so they monitor our truck traffic and just make sure that we're doing everything the correct way and we're not tracking stuff out and getting stuff all over people's vehicles and stuff. So I'm just gonna go ahead and box out this little area. I'm gonna keep it nice and dry so when the truck's back in there, they don't get stuff all on their tires and they're not tracking it out in the road. I'm gonna make it just a little wider than the truck tracks themselves, give the drivers just a little bit of leeway. I don't want to stuff them into a little crack here. I'm always thinking about, you know, the drivers. I don't want to, you know, mess up anyone's day or get anybody up all hyper. I'm gonna wipe my window off here. Get hard to see. Sorry it's raining. You're gonna have a lot of raindrops on the glass, but we'll make do. Keep poking along. So anyways, we're stockpiling all this material. We're pulling over there to a quarter swing from our position to where we're going to be loading out the trucks. I'm just going to clean up these walls a little bit so no one falls on the edges of them. Just kind of swat them around, make them safe. Alright, so now we got a nice little spot for the truck to back in there. As you can see, it might be hard to see, but now I'm going to track forward. I'm just going to swat this pile here over a little bit, just so I don't sideswipe nothing, damage the excavator. Then I'm going to go ahead and reach over here and start chewing out the end of this little ramp area here. We're just going to toss it up here to our little loadout spot. And this is staying efficient. When there's no trucks here, don't be sitting there playing on your cell phone, any of that garbage. It's unnecessary. Got a nice stump there. We'll throw in the next load. Hopefully they have a nice spot to bury that. I'm going to set that stump to the side. And then I'm going to take this stump, I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to push it away from me, and I'm going to position it so when I go to grab it, you can just get it right in your bucket like so, and go right boom to loading. So we're just going to leave it like that so we can pick it back up. And we're not going to stockpile any material on top of it so we can see it and get to it easily. You don't want to sit there fumbling around trying to grab a stump for an hour when you're trying to load trucks. So just prep yourself so things like that won't be an obstacle when you're loading. And I'm just going to keep working material up here, keeping an eye out for trucks. I'm going to keep a little platform there that I can track out on. I don't want to get too far to where I can't reach the bottom of the pile, so I'm just peeling off the top and I'm leaving it so I can track right out to here if I have to, so I can reach all the way over to the bottom of the pile. And I'm just going to keep shaving it down. I'm trying to keep it dry. The wetter stuff I've been kind of throwing to the side up on higher ground, and then later on once the trucks get to where they need to be on site, we'll go ahead and we'll load that stuff out. That's about the gist of it. We're gonna just keep doing this for a while, keep working this grade down, and then we'll come back a little later here. Hopefully shortly I'll be doing some electrical trenching for the electrician, and we can get that going today before the snow. We're gonna have to get it all backfilled by the time we leave because we're supposed to get that 2 feet of snow. So we have a lot of work ahead of us today, but we're getting there. We're gonna get it done. You guys stay tuned, and we'll be back shortly to check in. Just a quick tip for you guys here. When you're loading out trucks, always stay busy, even when you're not having trucks. Don't be playing on your phones. Don't be doing any of that. Be stockpiling material to get that quarter turn for efficiency. It's important. If you have people paying attention to your numbers, this makes a huge difference. So, just a tip. Just got Adam and Carter down here. Carter in the loader, Adam directing him. And I got them moving blocks around to prep for the snow. They're just going to stockpile everything behind our wash pit in there where we don't have to plow. So they got about 50 of those blocks to move today, and then we'll be putzing around with the electrician probably. So stay tuned. I just wanted to check in. we just got ourselves all squared up and got a big old stockpile of material here to load the next few trucks out. It's always good to give these trucks a little complimentary beep when they're getting close to that bank so they don't back into their mud flaps and rip them off, because that'll shut you down if the truck comes in without a mud flap. Per DOT regulation, we're not allowed to run it on the road, so keep that in mind. I always clean up behind my trucks, and I always try to help them out as much as I can when they're backing into these little tight places we create for them, so they don't damage their equipment, and we can keep on running like this all day, as efficient as we possibly can. So we're just gonna keep poking along here, taking these big giant scoops. You want to go over there with a full bucket. You don't want to, unless you have a specific spot for a quarter bucket that you want to place. I pretty much am always grabbing full buckets way above water level, maybe an extra yard in every scoop if I can, just to stay productive. We got the guys down here staying productive as well. They're moving all these blocks around. You can see them right there, stacking them all on the forks with the skid and then running them over and stacking them nice here so they're nice and tight and out of the way. When it snows, they'll be able to just dust them off and they'll be available. So the key is to these big snowstorms like this is just having your site clean, get all your loadout piles out, anything that holds moisture, get away from your areas where you're going to be working. So you got always nice dry ground. I always try to take the dozer out and clean everything up every day, just so we can stay high and dry. We're loading these trucks up pretty well. They're not running very far, so we're not overloading them, you know, putting them overweight, giving them that rest, but we're certainly giving them a nice load here. And see how that quarter turn is so efficient. I'm literally barely even making a swing, and boom, I'm right there. Now I got a nice pile. Go to the front of the truck, and he's loaded. Now I'm going to go ahead and track back. I'm just going to clean this up. See how I set this up here so I don't sideswipe nothing with the old hoe. We don't want to scratch the old paint on the old girl. So we're just going to swat this stuff back so we don't get into any of it. Work off the top, push it over, and I'm going to drop the blade down a little bit. Just like this. Now that we got that out of the way, we're going to come over here. We're just going to keep taking it down to our subgrade down there. We don't want to make a pond or nothing, so I'm going to leave it a couple tenths high so I can cut it out later with the bulldozer. But we're just going to keep on working down there and getting all this material here for a quick loadout. So, in the gist of it, that's how you efficiently load out piles. You have just about enough time in between each truck to grab this material and just get it up on deck. And of course, you always want to leave yourself a nice little area to track around, so you don't want to get too close and impede on your work platform. So a lot of times I just keep chewing it out like this and working it, and then maybe eventually if I get enough material out of here, I'll cut another little ramp down so I can track in and out. But other than that, we're just moving a bunch of dirt here. We're going to get loaded out, get all this off site. So it'll be a good day. You're paying $130 an hour for trucking. You want to use these trucks as efficiently as you can. It's one of our biggest expenses, so we're going to take our time and just do a good job getting them trucks in and out of here as quick as we possibly can. quite racy outside over there, so what I'll do is I'll just wad some material up here, and then watch this. I'll go ahead, and since I couldn't reach it, I'm gonna track this way just a smidge. I'll go ahead and I'll swing my rotator over, get myself right out here. I'm gonna backtrack, get right out on that edge, and now I can go ahead and I can clean up all these windrows over here. And I'll just take all the material, I'll just put it right up against my edge, and I'm just gonna lift the grade slightly so it pitches towards my ditch line over there. We don't want a pond here. That would be not good for production if we have to work and fight against mud and every other thing. So now I'm gonna track back a little more. I made myself a little landing area. I'm gonna grab that last bit of windrow right there, work that down in, right up under my track. So if I have to track a little further, which I don't, and I'm just gonna keep cutting this grade all the way out to the edge here. And out here, since I have a big full bucket, I'm gonna swing up here and bring some mud material. I'll probably do that with a couple buckets here. Just keep chewing away down over here. Just get all this material up here, so when that next truck gets here in 2-3 minutes, we can load them out quickly. And I'm leaving that area out there since I can't reach it right now. Later on, once I get this platform chewed down to the grade I'm sitting at right about there, I can track out on that platform I just created and get to that material. So we're not really too worried about holding grade other than keeping the machine fairly square so when we get out there and cut that material, we got a nice little platform. So I'm gonna keep chewing out this platform, and that's where I'll be able to track down in a little while. We'll just keep moving the material up here for a quick loadout. Sorry about all the water on the windshield. It's raining and snowing out, so we'll just deal with it as we go. Alright, we got about 2-3 truckloads stockpiled up here, so we'll go ahead and get ourselves back into position for our loadout. And then we'll go ahead, we're just gonna track over here, just re-square up our work area again. I always leave a little windrow there, and I just kind of go down through like that. Same thing over here. Just kind of hold the same grade. Slot that to the side. Now we can track back in to our work area. And then I'll go ahead and swing around and I'll flatten that end up again, just to make sure that we got. And I do have a little drop over here to the right side, so I'll just swat a little material over there. But look at that, we got a nice square work area. I'll kick this little windrow over. Now we can maneuver our way around here, nice and square and efficient without any concern. It's really starting to get nasty out now there, dirt squirrels. It's starting to snow. It's starting to stick a little bit, making things more wet than anything. But we got a guy over on the other site running bulldozer, pushing all this stuff off over there. So I'm trying to keep the material as dry as I possibly can. So what I've been doing, instead of hogging down to the bottom of the pile down there, I'll go ahead and I'll pull it off the top. I'll lift off the top foot, set it aside. That's going to be saturated. And then I'll go ahead and I'll dig down and get into that dry layer like you see right here. And I can just take this dry stuff and throw this stuff up on deck and leave all that wet stuff out for another day. So that's just another quick tip. It makes it a lot easier when the trucks are maneuvering in and out of other sites that are going to be wet. Keep the material as dry as you possibly can. And it should, you know, give longevity to your day versus if you're just loading all the wet stuff from the bottom of the pile out and just moving along down through the pile. So just a tip, keep that in mind. We'll check back in later. Towards the end of the day, gonna keep loading out these trucks, but it's starting to get pretty nasty, so we don't want to go too crazy here. I'm starting to find a lot of wet material underneath the pile here, so I've been trying to keep it dry as I can. Trucks up pretty good because they're going fairly local. We don't want to overload them. We don't want to have issues with DOT or braking, damaging equipment. So nice, so everything will drain. So yeah, that's gonna do it for today. Hopefully we'll be back at it again tomorrow if it's not too much snow, but if not, we'll be back on Wednesday. So you dirt squirrels have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow.